So this is my infographic based off of a resource and study on including inclusion into online learning, specifically to the TPACK framework, adding inclusion as a integrated part of technology, content, and pedagogy. In the very top of my infographic, I decided to add a title called Adding Inclusion to Online Learning. I think this title does a very good job at explaining what exactly it is that the audience is going to be looking at when they get this handout or see this poster on a wall. If I was to change anything, I would change the spacing on the side of the title. And I would maybe include a more colorful line, but between the choice of adding a more colorful line and including a consistent dotted line that matches with my Foursquare, I decided to go with the consistent dotted line to make sure I stay within the same style of the whole text. I decided to make the font a different style than the rest of it, so it stands out as the title and is a lot less boring. I wanted a really strong font, so I included this Cinzel font, which looks very similar to like a Roman engraving in stone. To start off, we're going to, in the actual infographic, we're going to look at the top left of the infographic, which is what is ITPACK. I wanted to introduce what it is that the study was presenting, which is the addition of inclusion into the TPACK structure. So I decided to use this puzzle piece situation with inclusion as the missing piece that is being added to the entirety of the concept. I think it adds a really strong use of color in the box, with every box needing some level of color so that the reader can have their gaze look directly at it. I think it allows me to go from up to down, and I have a brief description where it says ITPACK is the framework of elements that we need to consider when we start online teaching. Traditionally, only tech, content, and pedagogy were considered, but now it's time for a change. Inclusion. I wanted inclusion to be separate right here so that it stands out in the infographic as the main focus, and inclusion is just an addition. It's essential to online learning is what the passage is about. To the right, how do teachers react? These are the results of the study. There was a lot to the study that I was debating on including, but I think I wanted to remain as simple as possible to showcase my goal, which is that inclusion needs to be implemented, because the vast majority of teachers are uncomfortable with adding or changing the course to think about inclusion, with only 83%. I wanted to keep the colors pretty similar but also different from the one on the left. So I used this very light blue color with this brown background. I think the brown background was a great choice. This pale brown. So that made everything easy to read, especially with this change of colors. I think this definitely shows just how uncomfortable teachers are in general. But I also wanted to show just how important it is to teachers that they want to include inclusion, that they want to implement inclusion policies into the online technology programs. So I included 3 quotes. The challenge I faced here was the icons fitting very well, and the text boxes. I wanted different color text boxes, but I had to group this text box and this speech bubble, well, I could just type into these two speech bubbles. And lastly, I want to include what was recommended by Lisbeth Sainin in her article and the 6 steps. So I included nice check marks on the side that added a splash of color. I would, if I was to change anything overall, I would focus on this box a little bit more so that it stands out. But I was having a really hard time figuring out how to add 6 bullet points in a way that was impactful and not too wordy. Overall, this is my entire handout. I'm pretty proud of it, considering the challenges I faced with it, and I hope you enjoy it as